podcast number 5. The Norwegians are taking over not only jiu-jitsu but also my podcast. Last week we had Espen on. This week we have Tommy Langaker on. For the people who don't do jiu-jitsu or haven't heard of him, he's been crushing jiu-jitsu for a while. Got his black belt, I think, in 2017.
Yeah, 17.
17. Made a big impact last year. Second place at the Worlds, medaled some big tournaments. Just got second place at the Europeans, and today he's on the podcast to tell a little bit about himself. Thank you very much, Tommy, for taking the time.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's nice to be. It's nice to see you here on the internet.
Yeah, what I saw 2 weeks ago when you were in Lisbon for the Europeans, you posted a lot of pictures of people taking pictures with you. Did you feel a big difference of the recognition you got compared to last year? Got it even bigger, like the hype around you?
It's it's funny you say it, because it's the recognition after last year's World, because it's funny because before I fought in the Europeans 2018, I had nobody that really knew who I was or anything, and then after I did I submitted Erberth, everything just came like in an instant, and it was a weird situation, because all of a sudden everybody wanted to take picture and all of that, but I don't know how to put it, but it's a nice way to get the recognition from the fans, because it helps me keeping motivated to inspire others from around Europe, because right now, as the jiu-jitsu scene is dominated by these Brazilians and Americans, it's nice that we can push forward here in Europe and show the rest of the world that you can't fuck with the Europeans, and we coming strong. So that's cool, and that people take picture with me, I think is really cool, and it's nice, and it gives me a nice feeling in the sense of you get a how can I say, a sense of people appreciate the work you put in, and that you can be in a role model in a sense, and that's very cool.
But to you, it's still more important to get the results in the competition?
Of course, the result in the competition is only the result of my training, and the more I train, the more confident I am in winning. So the result is always going to be there. I know I'm going to be the best in the world, and I'm going to try to become the greatest of all times. And I know that as long as I put in the work, that's the most important, and everything else is just a bonus for me.
So the Europeans, it's 2 weeks ago now, and you made second place. I think the final was you were very close to winning. I think you lost on 2 points.
I lost by 2 points. I fucked up going into the 50-50 with Isaac, and from there he managed to sweep me. So, but like I said, it's a result of my training. I did a mistake in training, not preparing too much in 50-50, and now I know what my mistakes was, and I feel like the first time I met Isaac at World Championship in the finals there, I didn't know what to expect, but then you realize it's not superhuman, it's not something unbeatable or anything. He's just a regular human being, and I'm more than capable of beating him. It's just a tactical error, and now after Europeans, I could feel I felt the strength, I could feel his movement, and I know that I have better training than back home than fighting him. So I'm more than confident that next time I'm going to beat him either by points or submission.
Does it like, how long do you take to kind of, how do you say, that you go on? Like, does it still hurt to, because I think your goal was to take the first place? Do you just continue to work and
all the like every time I lose, when I was younger, I would take the loss very like personal. I would really get emotional when I lost. But now I know, after like a lot of, okay, this Europeans was very special because I entered the Europeans with a different mindset. I have been working a lot on in my head because I don't want to be emotional when I fight, because when I'm emotional, I act emotional, and that's when I think everything I do and I won't perform the way I want. So I've uh, I've reset my whole mindset about losing and all that. So now, this time I lost, I knew that, man, okay, I lost now, but it doesn't matter because I know I'm going to beat him anyways in the future. It's not going to be the end of the world for me. It's not going to be the last time I fight. I know I'm going to fight him a lot more times, and I know that a loss will only make me better than I was. If I would only win, that would be good because then I wouldn't have mistakes. But now, as I lose, I'm able to see my mistakes, my tactical errors, and I'm able to go home to my team and work on my deficiencies and become a better fighter and become become better, basically.
is winning the worlds this year, is that like the big goal for 2019?
I want to win worlds, and I don't like to like I said, I changed a little bit of my mindset because I don't focus on the worlds. I know it's coming up, and I know big competitions are coming up, but if I manifest too much on if I focus too much on winning the worlds, I'm thinking way too many steps ahead of myself, and I have to take day by day, and I have to take fight by fight. So I try to focus on when I'm at competition now. I don't think about, oh, when I fight this guy, I'm gonna have to do like this, or when I fight that guy, I have to do like this, and when I fight this guy, I do like this. I just take fight by fight and tournament by tournament, and I just try to improve and try to do as I do back home here in training, to be 100% free from all thoughts, everything, no expectations. If I don't have any expectations, I can't be sad when I lose, or I can't be happy. Of course, I'm going to be happy when I win, but I don't get like the emotional part of it. I get satisfaction of knowing my jiu-jitsu is getting better.
So did you set goals for this year, and how do you know that you're still on track? Do you have like a checkpoint every day where you kind of, okay, I did well today, didn't well?
No, I have I had my goal since I started this jiu-jitsu journey, that I know that I want to become the best. I know that I want to be known in this jiu-jitsu world, and I know and my main goal is to just trying to expand the Norwegian jiu-jitsu here on the West Coast, because like I don't set a year goal or anything, because I know there's so many things that can happen during a year, but I just believe in the process, and I know my body so well that I'm very confident in myself when I step out on the mat. So I know that if I just put in the hours from training, and I'm being totally I'm being pure at heart, I know that good things are going to happen, and as long as as long as I put the hours in, I'm going to get that gold medal anyways. So I'm not too worried about setting goals, as long as, of course, I set goals, but I don't wake up every day and think like I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to be a world champion, because that's going to only stress my mind when it comes close to becoming a world champion.
Let's go back to the beginning of it all. I think you did a great job of already putting Norway on the map, or the west coast of Norway. I thought about it today. Which other cities I know in Norway? It's like Oslo, and then it's like Haugesund.
Here we have like Oslo has done a great job like pushing the Norwegian jiu-jitsu, but the problem is it was only on the East Coast. So when I started here, there was no jiu-jitsu here. There was just we had a purple belt here. He came to train, and he teached us a little bit, and then he went away. And then it was just us on our own, and we had the chance. Okay, either we're gonna continue to roll or just don't do anything. So we just decided to, okay, let's continue to roll and just have fun with it. And the trainer came back after a while, and from there we just kept going, really, basically.
So at that time you were all white belts or blue belts?
Yeah, all white belts. It was only white belts, but I had an advantage because I did I started with traditional jiu-jitsu from when I was 9. When I was 9 years old until I was 17. So I started Brazilian jiu-jitsu when I was 17, and I fought for the national team in this sport jiu-jitsu, traditional jiu-jitsu, from when I was 14 till I was 17. So, and just to clarify what sport jiu-jitsu is, it's basically a lighter version of MMA, where you put like gloves on and you have the kimono, and you're allowed to do punches, but not knockout. Punches and kicks, you grab and you do the judo and you take the person down, and you have 15 seconds to work on the ground. If you expand that time, you go up, reset. So you don't really have that much time to do anything on the ground. So it's not much technique. It's just like trying to scramble and control the person. So I had the advantage of at least having a few years on the ground before I started the jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
So you didn't do, nowadays with the traditional people have something like Nevasa. It's pretty similar to Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So when you did it, they didn't have the Nevasa?
No, it was the Nevasa part that came now later years. It's growing a lot. But when we only had Nevasa in the training. Before that, it was just they did something called duo, where they had like scenarios where you would defend yourself, and you had fight. And fight was like okay, you fight, but not boxing fight. You did karate stance. So like you were controlling this and getting the points when punching. You would grab and you wouldn't punch anymore. So when you grab, you would take the person down, and from there you would work on the ground. So like it was a good start for my career, because it got me it got my mind very competitive, and since I was a child, I've always been competitive.
So how did you get better in the beginning, especially the time when you didn't have a coach? It's all like white belts, just doing stuff.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really sure how I got good, or I can't define myself as good, but like I'm not sure. I just really enjoyed the process of being on the mat, and I really had a love for the people I was training with, and we would just go to just train hard, and it was just good vibes when we would train. We would train inside a bunker. It would be freezing, and it was no good training facilities, but it was, at least we had the mats and we could train, so we were happy. And but luckily I met Espen I remember the last your last podcast with Espen. He talked about his first tournament where we fought, and that's a funny story, because that's the first time I actually met Espen&Vegard. And I was doing my sports jiu-jitsu, and I was very confident there. I never fought any tournaments before that, and I fought Espen in the semifinals, and he beat me by 2 points, I remember, and that really pissed me off, because who the fuck is this guy that he's 1 year younger than me and he just beat me? How? And he's lighter than me as well, and I was like kind of annoyed by it. And I remember I added Espen on Facebook just to see just to see who this guy was, and it kind of just fueled me, always trying to become better and better and better. And so every tournament I would go to, I would end up meeting Espen in the finals, and he would always beat me every fucking time. And I'm very happy about, like, back then I was very sad that he beat me, but now when I look at it, it was just a rocket fuel for me, because it just kept me sane. It kept me not like, because if I would win, it would be like, maybe my nose would come up in the air and I would be the king. But it kept me down to earth, and it kept me always motivated. And especially during like the newer advanced game, because Espen would do, the first time I fought Espen, he would do half guard, but then he changed it up. So the next time he would start doing like the De La Hiva and Berimbolo and all that. And I had no clue what that was. So I had to adapt to that. So I was adapting to his style. I was like, okay, this kid is doing this Berimbolo rolling on his neck, and how do I defend this? And what is it? So every time I would meet Espen, I would talk to him and ask him some questions, because I had to be honest. Like, he knew much more about jiu-jitsu than I did, and it's important to be humble in these situations if you want to become better. And that's what I did. I just had to swallow the apple and ask questions, basically, and it turned out good. I became better, and now I'm happy to have Espen here in my city, and Vegard as well, to train with every day and have good times.
I think there's a funny picture on your Instagram where it's top 3 at the. It was probably the first tournament. It's like top 3. It's Espen, it's you, Vanguard, all on.
Yeah. that was actually the first tournament we met. It was a tournament that was outside, and I remember it was sunny, then it was raining, it was sunny, it was raining, it was like, and I had my family there, and Espen would fight Vegard in the finals, and he would fight me in the semifinals. He would beat me, and he would eventually lose to Vegard, and Vegard was the champ then, but he was a blue belt, so Vegard used to he trained jiu-jitsu from he was 14 years old. So he was the king.
At what time did you get really close with Espen? Was it the time when you went together to RJ in California?
When I got close to Espen, it was 2000. I'm not really sure what time, but I remember the trip very well. It was we did the Danish Open back in 2000. I think it was 2000, end of 2012 or 13. I think it was 2013. And I remember, like, I was looking to compete, because I like I said, like, I had the advantage of doing the sport jiu-jitsu, so I was already very I could stand on my own feet in the sense of traveling, and I was very lucky with that. And so when I discovered Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I wanted to compete more because I wanted to become better. And I saw there was a tournament in Denmark called the Danish Open. So, and I knew I didn't want to take a plane. I just got my car license. So, I wanted to drive, and I had my car and everything. So I was like, okay, I want to drive down. And I was thinking, like, okay, Espen is living, because I live up a little bit more north than about 3 hours north from Espen. And I would drive past his town when I was on the way down. And I was thinking, like, man, Espen, maybe I'll ask Espen if he's going to go, and if he wants, he can just go with me and 2 of my friends. And I didn't know Espen personally, like, good back then. And then I just sent him a message, just like, hey man, you're gonna fight in the Danish Open? And he said he wasn't really sure. And I said, okay, no worries. I'm gonna buy the boat tickets. So I bought a ticket for him, and I said, okay. And then when I drove down, me and 2 friends, we picked him up, and we drove down to Denmark, and we just had a fantastic time, just making jokes and with my two friends and Espen. We didn't know what to expect, but we just managed to go very good together, and we just had a great time. And I remember that me and Espen, we fought in the open class. It was blue belt. We fought in the open class final, and he would beat me. He took my back and he choked me. And that was the last time me and Espen fought. After that, we have never fought.
Never fought.
Never fought again. So that was our last tournament fighting each other. But after that, it was just we went to. After that, we didn't reconnect. I would go back and forth from Haugesund. I would drive down to Egersund and train a lot, to stay over at his house and train, because he didn't have a car, and I had the possibility of going. I could go wherever I really wanted when I had a car. So I would just drive down, train, and I would go back home on the Mondays.
So how was it when you both went to California together? And
yeah,
you spent even more time than Espen in California, right? You were affiliated for a while too.
Yeah. The thing was, when me and Espen decided to go to California, I was working as a carpenter. I was finishing my education as a carpenter, and Espen was finishing his education at school, like his last year. And I remember it very clearly. Like I went down. It was the end of summer. I went down to Espen, and we were training, and we were sitting upstairs making jokes, and like, we should go. Maybe we should go to California to train. And we both just like realized, like, whoa, that's actually a good idea to do it, because we both were so serious about jiu-jitsu, and we both had a passion for it. So it's like, I remember we asked Espen's mom if we could borrow the MasterCard she had, so we could buy tickets immediately. And so we looked up a few dates, and we got to borrow it, and then we ordered the ticket, and yeah, I think we ordered the ticket after I had my final exam as a carpenter. So I finished my final exam. I did a carpentry project, and then on the day I got it approved and I got my papers, I quit my job, and it was the next week. Like, it was a gamble, because if I didn't pass, I would have to work more. But I had my mind set. I was gonna pass it, and I'm gonna quit my job on the day, and I'm just gonna get the fuck out of Haugesund and live jiu-jitsu lifestyle. So that's what we did. But like, for me, I had no clue where we were going. All I knew, we were going to California, and me and Espen, we didn't know where to stay or anything. We had nothing planned. We were two young guys, just very hungry for jiu-jitsu, and we went down to AOJ, and so apparently I thought we were going to Atos, but that was not the plan Espen had in mind. He wanted to go to AOJ, so that's where we went. And we went there. We had no place to stay. We booked in for a hotel for a few days, because we arrived on a Saturday and everything was closed. And we came on Monday again, and we just went to training, and we just talked to some guys, and they were very friendly to us. I remember we talked to a guy named Gustavo, and he helped us out. He said, "Yeah, man, because we said we needed a place to stay," and he said, "Yeah, we have a bed and a cushion you guys can sleep on in an apartment with 7 other guys." So like, okay.
Did you share a bed with Espen for the stay?
No, we were lucky enough to have like a outdoor furniture mattress on the ground. One guy was sleeping on the ground, and one guy had the bed. So we had 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, Espen had the bed, and I had the mattress, and then we would switch. So like, you would 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and it was we were living in the living room, and there was 2 other guys, and they both had girlfriends that would come and stay over. And there was 2 other rooms with one married couple right next to us and one other married couple in the other room. So it was pretty crowded, but it was a very, very nice experience. And I really became, because we were fortunate enough to get into the apartment with all the coaches. These were all coaches at AOJ. So I'm very happy that I got to spend so much quality time with all these people. And I'm happy to be able to call them friends this day now. And for me, my stay at AOJ was a little, like you said, it was a little bit longer because I really felt I needed to improve my jiu-jitsu, and my level back home wasn't doing it right at that time. Because Espen had different training in Haugesund. He had a little bit higher belts and all that. But I only had myself and some other guys. You know, they're good guys, but I needed to expand my jiu-jitsu. And that's what I decided. So I would go me and Espen, we went for 3 months, and then we went back. And then I by myself went back to AOJ for 3 months before Europeans. No, before Worlds, and so on. I would go back and forth, and just training and create just focus on jiu-jitsu basically. And from there, at the end, I got my brown belt from the Mendes Bros. I was very proud about that. And after about 2 years of man, time flies. I have no clue. From 2014 until 2016. Yeah, 2014, end of 2014 until end of 2016. That was my year, like back and forth, 3 months, 2 months, 3 months, and so on at AOJ.
And then in the meantime, you would, when you were back in Norway, you would work as a carpenter to earn some money?
No, I was lazy, man. I was just, when I went back home, I just wanted to train. That's all I wanted to do basically. So I did some private classes, and I would hustle basically. I would do like, if I had time, I would try to sell some private classes. If I could, I would work a little bit as a carpenter to make ends meet. You know, I did some work when I had to basically, and it worked out okay. And I managed to get money enough to travel, and it kept my mind on the right track in a sense to do it like this.
So when you got your brown belt and you went back to Haugesund, was that the time when Espen also moved to Haugesund and you all started training together all the time?
So I got my brown belt in 2015. I got my brown belt, and I would fight for AOJ for 1 more year until after Worlds 2016. Yeah, after Worlds 2016, that was my last year officially at AOJ, and then I would make a switch. After that switch, I went on to fight for Kimura, and about in 2016, at the end of 2016, that's when Vegard and Espen, they came here to Haugesund, because our friend Gerkore, one of our training partners, he wanted to open a gym, and he was going to open it with Vegard, and Vegard was doing. Vegard moved here, and I was like, okay, Vegard's moving here, that's nice. And I sent the message to Espen like, hey, Vegard's moving here as well. We're opening a gym. We already have an apartment, so we all 3 can live together. And it was. Then he just replied, yeah, I'm coming. And at first he stayed with Vegard because Vegard had an apartment in the beginning. Espen would stay like in a small bed in the living room of the small apartment Vegard had, and then we would all join forces in another apartment, and that's basically where like the journey began. And it's just been us here in Haugesund since that day, basically.
So you're all living still close together, or?
Yeah. On this day, I live with Vegard, and about 10 minutes that way, Espen lives, and my other training partners lives right down the street here, and so I have all my training partners close by, and so it's I'm very fortunate to have such good training partners, and so that lives close by, and they're very, very good friends of mine as well.
Were you surprised your first black belt season that you did so well? Would you have thought that you kind of like medaled the world's first season black belt?
Nah, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, like I am very confident in my own work. Like I'm very confident in my jiu-jitsu, and that's what makes the difference, I think, because I don't hesitate of doing anything when I'm on the mat. When I'm on the mat, I'm in a different state of mind. I'm in a flow state of mind, and it's like it didn't surprise me. It surprised me that the feeling I got when I stepped onto the final match, that was the only thing that surprised me. I got a feeling in the sense of, holy shit, I'm here. I could reach the apple, but I couldn't grab it, in a sense. You were just there, and I didn't know what to do. And it was a strange feeling, but it was also a very, very, very realistic. I could really feel myself, in a sense. I could really feel, because it was so close. It's really hard to put words on, because I was in the final of Worlds. I've been dreaming of this moment since I started this journey, because I wanted to become the best. And I was so close. And when I lost it, it was surreal, in a sense. I lost something that I could touch, but I couldn't grab. And that kind of stuck with me a little bit. And that's why I changed my mind. I was working a lot in my head. I changed my mindset, because I didn't know what happened. And now I feel like I'm in a positive state of mind, and I'm very confident. Like I said, I'm confident in my jiu-jitsu, and I know my jiu-jitsu speaks the truth. And I'm on the right path again. Not again, but I've always been on the right path, but like my mind is on the right path. And I'm more like I did in the Europeans. I don't feel threatened by anybody in my division. I don't feel anybody is better than me. And so it's just a different type of confidence right now. So I know that I'm gonna succeed in the future.
I've saw some matches of you, but I recognize you're always very calm, but also very wild. Like it's like you're a very calm, wild man while you're on the.
I like to say to my to the guys at the gym, like, it's the beauty in chaos. There's no system, but it's controlled chaos, because I don't like to have. I only plan like. I don't like to plan anything, like like with the podcast, like I don't like to plan too much. I like to go with the flow, and that's the way it reflects. It reflects in my jiu-jitsu, and it reflects in my life. And I feel like that is the purest way of fighting. It's like Bruce Lee said: you have to be like water. Water can flow and it can crash, and that's a good quote, because it's true. Because you have to flow, but when you have to crash. You know, you have to hit, and that's I think that's a good way of explaining how my jiu-jitsu is. It's like a constant flow state, but I'm always on the hunt of finishing the fight. And I will like, it's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes I would give up, like, because it's point based. Sometimes I do stupid shit because I sacrifice too much on the submission, and I would lose by like a sweep or a bad decision I've done in the fight because I was doing something else that wasn't tactically smart, but it was aggressively smart, you know. And so it comes back and bites you in the ass sometimes.
What what Espen told me, he said it to me before the podcast. You two are like a yin and yang, because Espen is very calm and you're more of a wild man. So he told me you're both learning from each other to embrace
Yes.
the other guy's strength.
So me and Espen, we had in the beginning we had very, very, very different styles of fighting. He has a very analytical style and very, you know, like he knows what he wants to do and he doesn't do anything unplanned. But for me, I had nothing planned and just doing and flowing. And like I said, it bites you in the ass sometimes. And the same with Espen's strategy. It would bite him in the ass sometimes because he would tense too much and holding the situation, just trying not to get past or whatever. And what I've picked up is the way of I picked up so many different ways of doing techniques, sequences, and my creativeness, my competitive strategic ability. And the same with Espen. He's become more, after he came here, he's become more loose in his jiu-jitsu. Like, he's not afraid to take the chances that he wouldn't do before. And it's also part of growth. You know, you have to be able to challenge yourself. Sometimes you lose and sometimes you win. But like I said, like, if you lose, you learn. And if you win, yeah, you win. You get an approval that your jiu-jitsu is doing good, you know. And like you said, me and Espen are yin and yang, and that is a very, very true metaphor. And you need to have these differences to become good together. Because I don't fight when I'm on the mat. I fight by myself, but I become myself by the people I'm on training with. You know, these are the one that helps me become the one I am today. I have done nothing by myself. I have done everything with these other people. These are the people that has formed me. These are the people that has given me love. These are the people that has given me encouragement. These are the people that have given me the technique and the motivation to keep going, you know. And that's what keeps it worthwhile, you know. And that's what keep our evolution of jiu-jitsu going. Yeah.
One of my favorite matches of you is the one against Erberth Santos.
Ah, yeah.
And the people who maybe not know the match, I try to link it in the podcast. It's like you're in a scramble position. You try to take his back or pass his guard, and he's kicking you in the face to create some space. And the people in the crowd, they start booing, and and while they're booing, you set up the triangle and you get him in the triangle, and you go crazy. It's like I don't know, people who like to watch a motivational music. That's like a video where your testosterone goes up.
Yeah. It's that was a good day, because the reason I got it was just the circumstances around this fight that made the fight good. It's like he just came off winning worlds at super heavyweight division. I was a brand new black belt. And what's funny about it is, and what really fueled me with this fight was that he asked for an easy fight to the IBJJF, like when they were doing the brackets. Yeah, I'm like, he was saying like, yeah, I have to get a good draw because yeah, I'm a world champ, and like, so he got a, in a sense, good draw. And that was until he met me, you know, and he can't pass me. He only passes people that are unathletic, not flexible, that are scared of him. And when you fight somebody that are not scared of you, and you fight somebody that has flexibility like we do, it's you're not gonna win. Like, and then the circumstances around it, it was just amazing. It was yeah, you know, when you beat the reigning world champion about 4 weight classes over you, it's surreal. It's I didn't know. I had no idea what to expect when I went into the fight, and I had no idea what to do after I won the fight, because it was like, it just happened. There was no plan to it. There was no yeah, it just happened, and luckily it was a positive outcome anyways.
But it sounds like you have some, at least jiu-jitsu, there's some jiu-jitsu bad blood between you and him.
Nah, like, I don't have anything bad. I don't have anything bad against anyone in jiu-jitsu, because I respect the work people put in jiu-jitsu, and I know what it takes to become a good athlete. And so I can't, but I don't like the attitude of people being arrogant. And arrogance only takes you so far, because like, you can be the best, the greatest of all times, but if you're arrogant, you're not gonna get the people's respect anyways, because arrogance kills. And sometimes when you're too arrogant, you need to get jacked down a little bit and put down to earth. And I think yeah, arrogance is never good. And like I said, I don't have any bad blood, but if you're arrogant against me and you think you're gonna have an easy fight, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and I'm gonna submit the shit out of you. That's basically how it is.
I have one very important question for you.
Yeah.
Did you really have a beer before your middleweight final?
I had I was sitting outside. The answer to that question is no. I didn't have a beer. I was really tempted to have a beer, but I was sitting there with my students and my teammates, and my dad was there as well. So he went out there to support. He always comes out to Europeans, because he supports me a lot. And he was sitting there with a beard. And and then my friend just said, Tommy, take the beard, hold it up. And he took a photo of it. But I was thinking about taking a beer, because you know, it's liquid carbs. The alcohol makes you a little bit more relaxed with the nerves. But, you know, I didn't take the chance, not this time.
Yeah, I know from poker. In poker, we oftentimes have it's called dinner break. We have small breaks, and then there's a big break from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., for example. And I feel if you drink a beer at that time, it's not good, because it makes you so tired.
Yeah.
I think yeah. I did it once. I did it once when I started out playing poker, and I was so tired the next few hours. Just so happy when the tournament was over.
I can imagine it. Like, it's good there and then, but then like you said, if you have a break, your body's gonna get too relaxed, and you're gonna get tired and disoriented.
But
I think.
Do you drink alcohol on the weekend?
No, I rarely drink alcohol. When I was younger, I would go party and I would do all that, but like I was part of my career, I was kind of tired of being hungover and not performing as well as I wanted in class. And I don't, as this day, I don't really get anything out of drinking alcohol. It's like, it's not too good for, like, it's personal. Like, it's like, I don't enjoy. I enjoy a beer, and I take a beer every day because it's good carbs and it tastes good. But I don't. I never get buzzed. Rarely get buzzed, in a sense.
Did you get into fights when you were younger? Because I heard the story that you have a metal plate in your jaw.
Yeah, that's one of also the reasons I don't drink, because sometimes I get when I was younger, I would get kind of grumpy. Not grumpy, but like aggressive when I was drinking. And I would pick some fights. And yeah, and it didn't always have, sometimes it had a good result, but that was one time I didn't have a good result, and that kind of changed my whole mentality around being a world champion drinking. So yeah, I broke my jaw in a fight. I broke it here and I broke it here. So we got in a fight with 8 guys, and I was stupid enough to pick a fight while being very, like, I couldn't walk. I was so drunk, and I couldn't walk, and I picked the fight with people with 8 guys or even more. I'm not really sure. And yeah, it didn't. I think we did good. I don't really remember. I think we did pretty good. And then I wasn't lucky enough to break my jaw. I remember my jaw was just hanging down. Like, it looked like some like a cartoon, like a cartoon, because my jaw was hanging down and I could like push it back up.
Ooh.
And I would release and it would just go down. It was like very fucked up.
That's not good.
Nah, it's not good, but you learn, right? You live and you learn.
So are you teaching at the moment in your academy?
Yes, I'm teaching. I only teach twice a week. I used to teach more, but we cut down the morning class because most of the guys just want to roll anyway, so there's no point of teaching. And so now I only teach twice a week, so Monday and Wednesday. But now we're going to be opening an academy very soon, and so then it's going to be a little bit more teaching. But since we're a lot of guys, we're going to spread it out pretty well, so it's going to be all right.
Are there already people from other countries coming in to train with you?
Yes, we have tons of guys coming all the time. Like, we have our standard issue people that always come. Like Henry Lindos, we have Andrew, Josh, Morten Gullaksen, and Tommy Pulkanen. Yeah, we have a lot of guys and Tariq Hopstock as well. So we have a lot of guys that comes here to train, and I'm very, very happy that people actually want to come down here to train, and they always get to stay here at our house, and we fix them up, and they get to stay here, and we have a good time and great trainings, and we exchange techniques all the time. And now as the season started, more and more people wants to come down up here to train, and that I'm very, very happy about. I'm excited to see in the future when we can create like official camps and all that stuff, that comes with a gym,
Yeah, that's cool. And I was traveling last year, and my main purpose wasn't jiu-jitsu, but I just traveled and took my gi with me.
Nice.
And it's a commitment to come to Haugesund. Like, I looked up the flights, and it's like, I don't know, from Vienna, you have to go to Oslo, and then it's like 7 hours by plane.
Oh, 7.
Yeah, at least
Holy
6.
shit! Oh, that's a lot. Yeah. No, we live like Haugesund is an island. Like it's an island where you basically have to take a boat to get south or north, or you can drive east. But that's it. But it takes 8 hours to go to Oslo from here, so you drive over the mountain.
Yeah, the flight was always Oslo and then to another airport close by, and then I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. You can either go to Stavanger or you can go to direct to Haugesund. I don't think it's too much difference, to be honest. But yeah, you always have to go in Oslo because there's no direct flights there.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about is the money in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
What do you
I haven't anything about it, so
Hmm?
I haven't seen any of it.
Yeah, I think this sucks compared to other sports. Winning a big tournament in jiu-jitsu, it's not much money. You kind of have to do other stuff.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you see it changing in the future, that there's more money in jiu-jitsu? Or
Yes, I see a big change. It's for me, like I was always thinking about making a change into MMA, but now as I see the sport is growing so much, I don't think it's going to be necessary because the money in jiu-jitsu now, it's I think in the next 5 to 10 years it's gonna explode. But that's my opinion, and I base it on, like, you see all these no-gi tournaments, you super fights, you see like Spider Invitational, you see Polaris, you see EBI, and all these tournaments starting to have solid amounts of cash, and for the Abu Dhabi as well. Now it's only, so I think it's gonna change a lot. But as of this day today, as an athlete, you don't make any money of it. Like you don't have, like, for me, I have no steady income. I have no there is not no savings or anything. It's like it's an everyday hustle. You wake up and you go train, and you try to make ends meet in as best as you can by doing jiu-jitsu. And as long as I have food and a roof over my head, I'm more than satisfied. But I believe, like, if the money is the motivation, I think you're in for the wrong, especially for jiu-jitsu. If you're in it for the money, then jiu-jitsu isn't the sport. You do it because you love it, and I think that's what makes jiu-jitsu different. And like, especially for me, it's like for me, money is just you can buy stuff with it. You can buy some food, and you can maybe have a nice car or something. But for me, that is not important at all. My well-being is the important. And as long as I'm happy doing jiu-jitsu, and as long as I wake up with a smile, and I know I can go to training at 10 o'clock, drink coffee for an hour, and then go roll, man, I'm smiling all the way to the bank, cashing my $100 check, every month. It's like, there's not, like I said, there's not enough money right now, but you can do that. Isn't competition jiu-jitsu, there is not enough money. But if you teach, and if you run an academy, if you have an online program, if you have teach seminars, but that's all extras. It's not about being an athlete anymore. Then it's being in and you educating people in your jiu-jitsu. That is what money is in jiu-jitsu. Then spreading your jiu-jitsu. But as the jiu-jitsu in competitive right now, not much. But like I said, it's gonna come up. So when my students become go up in level, they're gonna see the rise of money come with it. And so maybe the day when I finish my competitive career, yeah, there's gonna be way more money in it than there is today.
This question might be early because you're in the middle of your competitive career. Do you see yourself staying in jiu-jitsu, teaching for after your career?
Yes, I have no plans of changing my life. I want to live like as I see my future today. I just want to enjoy my life and do whatever I love. And like I said, now we're going to be opening a gym. I have big plan. Like we have rest of the Wolfen crew have big. We have big plans for what's going to come. And if I'm 35 or 45 or 55, I'm still going to be doing jiu-jitsu. It's been a part of my life as long as I can remember, and I've been on the mats as long as I remember, and I don't, and I see I'm going to try to make this well living, you know. And like I said, I'm just trying to live a life that I'm happy with. I don't need all the artificial shit. I don't need like I have good clothing by Tatami, so I don't worry about clothes. I have, as long as I have a roof over my head, I have a bed. You know, I'm like I said, I'm smiling. I'm enjoying life.
That's cool. To come, I don't even know how long we talked. I put my watch somewhere, so I think we for a long time.
I have no clue.
Yeah, two questions before we finish up. Do you have any super fights lined up?
Actually, it's funny that you ask. I got contacted by Polaris about, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and they asked me if I wanted to have a fight against Isaac, and I said yes, I want to have a fight against Isaac for 15-minute submission only, but it's not official yet or anything because I don't know if he accepted the fight. But I said like if he doesn't want to, I want to fight Gabriel Arges. Because like when I won against him, I know I won that fight even though he got DQ'd because he was making all these sounds and running out of the mat while I was choking him. So I kind of wanna just put like I beat him. You know, I want to fight him, and it will be a good fight, I think, too, because he has a great jiu-jitsu style against mine, and I think it will be very exciting. And but for rest of super fights, I just got tournaments like I'm gonna do the Grand Slam in London, and then I'm gonna be doing the World Pro in April, and then I'm gonna be doing the World Championship in the end of May, beginning of June. Yeah, but that's basically how the schedule looks right now. But that's just the main ones, you know. And everything like the super fight I said about Isaac is it can happen or it doesn't happen. And then, but all of a sudden, some other fight comes up or another tournament comes up. Like that's what I said. Like I live in the now, and I don't really plan too much about like the small details. Like I know I'm going to do the World Championship and the World Pro and the Grand Slam. These are the three I'm focusing on right now. But everything else is just a bonus for me, and I'm going to be trying to do more of seminars and do some seminars and make some money out of that.
Do we see you in the Nogi anytime soon?
Yeah. As of now, I did a fight against Kit Dale Reese like in the summer in August, but I only picked that fight because the money was I needed money, and fuck it, it's just jiu-jitsu. I wanted to roll and challenge myself. But when I decide to do Nogi, I'm going to be announcing it that I'm going to do a total switch. I'm not going to be training gi anymore when I do Nogi, because people think, because it's a generation swap right now with the gi and the Nogi. It's like you have the people like Gordon Ryan, you have these guys are pure Nogi, you know, they don't know shit about gi, and vice versa. You know, for me, I don't know shit about no-gi, and I'm honest about it. I don't know shit about no-gi. I know how to do jiu-jitsu and no-gi, but I don't know how to set up, because it's a whole other world with the no-gi and ADCC rule set that you can't now. These, before, like 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, you could train in the gi and still win ADCC worlds, but that only shows the level of the ADCC worlds if you can train in the gi and you still win ADCC. But now, like, you have these specialized no-gi people coming in and with a whole other system, and now they beat everybody. It's not because basically they're just so much better than them. It's just because they put their focus into doing no-gi, and they're not doing like the gi no-gi. They're doing like the pure no-gi with the heel hooks and the system around heel hooks and the honey hole and all that shit, you know. And it's another way of fighting. It's a totally another way of fighting than doing the gi, you know. So it can't. To be honest, I don't think it can be compared to the gi with the no gi, because the transitions, you have some elements that are very similar, but not everything. It's so many different scenarios that can happen in the no gi, because you can't secure your grips, you can't secure anything. You just have to. It's another way of flowing in a sense. That's what I believe. So the day I'm going to be doing no gi, it might be for the ADCC 2021. Yeah, 2021. I think that's going to be the year I'm going to transition into the no-gi, about in 2020 or something. I'm not sure, because now, like I said, I have one goal, and I want to be I just want to keep my true north, in the sense of having not too many things I'm focusing on. I just want to be focusing on the gi, because that is my right as this day today. That is my main goal, and that is my main drive. And so when I accomplish my goal, I think I can do a transition from there into the no-gi, and then I will focus on the no-gi, and I'm going to win the ADCC, and I'm going to go back to the gi and do whatever I want. I can do whatever the fuck I want from there, you know.
So where do people find you? I know you do Wolfing House.
Yeah, you like you find me on like, either you can find me on the Wolfing House, wolfinghouse.com, the online page, or you can find me on Instagram at Langaker BJJ. That's basically where I do my social media, you know. But I'm not too, how can I say, not too keen about the social media stuff, you know. It takes me out of reality.
Yeah, I always feel like people who have too much time to post on social media, they kind of lack in the real skills.
It's true that, like, but people, they see confirmation from other people by getting the likes and getting all that stuff, and they get a sense of high from that. And I'm not about. I know what the feeling is of getting like, you get these many likes and you feel good, but it's a false confidence you get from it, and I think it kind of messes up people's head, because they get put on a pedestal if they get too big on this shit, and they don't. Yeah, you know, it's the anti-social social media.
Yeah. So after the people watched this podcast, turn off the YouTube and go out and train some real jiu-jitsu.
Everybody, remember to stay woke. You know, you gotta stay into reality. You know, keep your third eye open.
All right, let's wrap it up. So thank you very much for taking the time, Tommy.
Thank you so much for letting me be on this podcast. It was great fun, man.
Yeah, it was great fun for me. Also, if anyone watched this podcast who does super fights, I think there's a lot of interest in seeing like Tommy, Espen. I think there's a lot of interest just in you two guys and seeing you more in the media.
Yeah. So, don't hesitate to contact us. We do we do seminars, super fights, or whatever. You know, hit us up.
Okay, then. People, stay off social media, train jiu-jitsu, and hear you soon again. Bye bye.
Peace.